Welcome, esteemed guests, to the Darkstone Dossiers with your host, Anthony Darkstone.
Hello and greetings. Guten Abend. Buonasera a tutti. Bonsoir. Buenas noches. Bonne nuit. And a very good evening and good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're watching this on the planet. Anyway, nice to have everybody here. Thank you so much. Let me get straight to the main event, as they say. I personally am very grateful to all my mentors, one in particular. Many of you will know him, many of you will have met him. I am blessed and privileged to have spent many wonderful times with him, breaking bread, amongst other things. We very rarely talked about effects. We actually talked about other things relating to magic. And one of them was the business of magic. Obviously, if you're a hobbyist, you're not too bothered about going out and getting some gigs. But then again, you might be. If you are charging any money in whatever form, or consider yourself a professional magician, then you have to remember two things that my dear mentor, Eugene Berger, always spoke about. He never wrote about it, but he spoke about it. And that is, show business is made up of two words. One is show, and the other is business. Business? Yes, business. If you're sitting somewhere and you've got a big collection of books and props and things and you're just having fun with your hobby, great. But the majority of people who do that, whether they're professional or part-time professionals or semi-professional, whatever, need an audience. Without that, not really a great load of sense in having a huge collection of things. I mean, you can do, I guess, but by and large, you need to be out there performing magic. And if you are, you're spending money. What do you do with that money? Do you declare it? Do you not declare it? My own view is, yes, I think you should, because it give you problems later on. So basically, what happens is this. You have to give some time to the business of running a business, however big or small. Your expenses on your cars or flights or trains, buying a deck of cards, buying a huge prop, a small prop. How do you organize your business? Wouldn't it be nice if there was something where you could put in a kind of standard wording for a contract? Have a way of creating marketing that can get you some more clients. Have a way of something that you could enter in all the various things that you need to run a business. Some of you have seen the post, and in the post I quoted from dear Billy McCoon, Dr. Billy. Some of you may know him, some of you may not have heard of him, but I can tell you at his time, and even now, he was something of a legend. And his wife, June Merlin, in her own right, was one of the few lady magicians who kind of rose to international fame. But okay, so enough of all of that. I'm delighted to have as my guest tonight a gentleman I know. He is an MIMC with the gold star at the Magic Circle. For those of you who don't know, at any given point in time, there are only, give or take, about 300 of those at any given point in time. And they are only awarded at the discretion of the president at the time, and obviously in consultation with the council. Speaking of which, Paul is also on the council, and I'm very happy to say I voted for him. I happen to agree with a lot of his philosophies and way he does things. So I thought he'd make him. This is not his first time on the council. He'd been there before, and I hasten to add he's had his MIMC with the Gold Star well before he was on the council. Now, he has put together some very wonderful business ideas. I thought it would be kind of cool to just have a chat with him about how he sees the business of magic, what he does to help that aspect of magic in general. So, please would you welcome my guest tonight, Paul Martin.
Hello.
Hello there, Paul.
Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How's it going, sir?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Yes, a rare Saturday night off, but
Yes, exactly.
very pleasurable one. So,
Well, thank you. I'm very, very pleased you managed to make the time for this. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be of great help to a lot of people. Not so much what you're saying, but reading between the lines. Now, we're not going to do the usual, how did you start in magic? And, did your auntie give you a kit? And did your dad buy you a thumb tip for Christmas? We'll dispense with all of that. Suffice to say, you've been around and you've done things. You have gained a fast reputation as well as an MC, not just in the UK, but at various corporate events, and together with your business associate partner in Norway, you're quite frequently there at corporate dinners and events. By the way, it's a country I love very much. I've had some wonderful gigs there myself. So I think what I'd like to do, Paul, at this stage, if you don't mind, is to just basically turn the floor over to you. So rather than sort of ask 20 questions, would you be kind enough to just explain what it is your academy does? How does it help people get more gigs?
sure. So, the Pro Magic Academy was set up just around lockdown time. And basically, I've been a very successful magician for kind of 30 years, from close up to after dinner to then hosting. And I wanted to, when lockdown happened, I started doing Zoom shows, as we all did, because basically all our business had finished. So I got really into, like, the camera setup and using a sort of in-house studio for my Zoom shows. And to do that, I bought a course on how to do it. And that got me thinking about, well, why don't I build a course for magicians to help them run their business or be more successful? Uh,
Right.
and that's basically, that was the first idea behind it. My very first course I did was the hoop and glass, because someone recommended I do that trick. There was nothing out there at all apart from a very small PDF,
Hmm.
which didn't really help. And so I hired a juggler for a day and few moves, and then literally I spent a year buying every sort of drum hoop, every type of polycarbonate glass, and trying every combination of how to do the hoop and glass until I kind of, I think, mastered it. I made that into a course and then started selling it to magicians, which went very, very well. And from that, the kind of Pro Magic Academy was born. And I made my first big course, which was how to be a professional wedding MC. Or as I call it back then, the easy way to 100K, which is a bit, some people think that's a bit salesy, but it's true. So,
Yeah. Now, this is, to the best of my knowledge, I mean, it does happen in various parts of Europe and to a smaller degree in the US, but the wedding magician is really quite a phenomenon in the UK, isn't it? That's really taken off. I mean, would you like to kind of
yeah.
give us some of your thoughts on that?
So in the UK, weddings are huge for magicians. I mean, pretty much. I don't know how many weddings would have a magician, but it's a staple of all magicians' work.
Hmm.
It's an easy one to get because it's easy to target. So we know we can find bride and grooms. There's groups on Facebook. There's we can go to wedding venues, we can go to wedding fairs, we can go to wedding showcases. So it's a very easy genre to market into.
Hmm.
I know in the US, DJs kind of do the wedding MC, so they're the ones
Yeah.
making announcements. I have sold quite a few courses to some US guys, and who are doing quite well with it, but certainly not on the same scale here. And in Europe, again, it's kind of a new phenomena. There
Mm.
are magicians who work at weddings, and there are obviously quite a few wedding MCs now, but. Predominantly, yeah, UK, it's just a huge, huge business. From close-up magic, which would be at the reception drinks and then
Hmm.
around the tables during dinner, to the evening reception. And then obviously what I kind of created, I guess, was my version of a wedding MC, which would be, making all the announcements, doing a cabaret show, you could play games, etc., throughout the whole course of the day. And that was the reason I did that, was it was an easy way to double or triple my fee. So rather than trying to think of how can I add more to my close-up magic, how can I
Mhm.
add more to the actual packages that I was offering uh,
Right.
to, earn double or triple because I'm still there. How do I do that? And that's basically where that was born. I didn't invent the idea. I just kind of, run with it and created it a bit more for magicians, so it was easy to understand.
Well, I think, as you've rightly said, one of the important things in any business is to look for the needs that the market has, whatever business you're in, or maybe even create those needs. I'm sure somewhere along the line, back in the day, someone said, wouldn't it be nice if they had the magician at a wedding? And
Yeah.
then that industry grew from there. And as you say, there were um, wedding fairs and things where people now market everything from bridal gowns to, venues for the reception and that sort of thing. So you yourself have done it. Tell me a little bit more about how this academy works. Now, say I was new to the business or in the business for some time and thought, I want to expand this. What do I do? Do I just get in touch with you? And then what happens then?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, back in the day when I first launched it,
Mm,
I would message people on social media and say, "Hi,
mm,
do you want to jump on a call? I've got a new course," and that proved very successful. That's the way I kind of learnt it to
mm,
sell the course to market it. But basically, it's for anyone, whether you're brand new to Magic or you're a seasoned pro or anything in between, and you just want to add something else to your business. Now, what I did was I created an online course, a
mm-hmm.
step-by-step guide where I cover absolutely everything. So every single aspect, everything you need to know to become a successful wedding MC. So that would be um, how to approach venues, how to pitch it to clients, what to say. I give them the brochure, copy, everything you need, website, everything you need, how to everything you needed to know on the day, for instance, how to set up your music, what PAs to use, what sound system, everything you needed. I'd even give you the full script, everything written out. So all you had to do was someone who joined the course was literally fill in the blanks of the bride and groom. I'd show you how to put it on your iPad, use it, all the tools that I use to make running the day as easy as possible, and all of the forms and everything you need to get the gig. For instance, when you once you've got the gig, you need to sell it. So once you're chatting to a couple, you might be talking about close up, but then we've got a half day MC package and a full day MC package, and you've got to know how to present that to that couple. So they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna at least go for the half day, which would be double what you'd get for the close up. And then obviously once they've booked that, we've got to deliver it. So I give you all of the forms that you'd need to, a wedding party details form, a run sheet, etc., that we can give to the couple that they can
Right.
give to us. So they're basically doing the hard work for us and
Mm-hmm.
show them on the course how to present that on Zoom, how to book in a call with them, what to say, everything you possibly need, I put on that course.
Well, I know for a fact that a lot of magicians, both within the UK and outside of the UK, have enrolled on that course.
Uh-huh.
I've seen some of their testimonials. So obviously it works and works well. However, having said that, it's in my opinion, from some very basic research, that there's a whole big, huge market in the States. I mean, I have a couple of pals who do weddings and they make a fairly good chunk of money out of it. And in Europe, there's a big market. And I think perhaps those listening or watching this clip might say, yeah, I really like to know the ins and outs of this, because it's not just a matter of going up to the bride and groom. Very often they're not paying for it.
No, true. That's true.
Yeah, it's the parents or somebody else.
Yeah,
And they have to be convinced that by having a stroke magician stroke MC
yeah,
is going to add value to that special day.
yeah.
Now, how do you kind of convey that to perhaps a magician who says, "Oh, this is interesting. I'm based in France or Germany or wherever. I'd like to know more about this." What happens? Do you send them a manual, or do
No,
they
no,
have
everything,
they
yeah,
do they
everything.
just kind of talk to you on Zoom? How does it work?
So on the course, on all of our courses, you have full access, lifetime access to a course, which is usually about 100 videos. Okay.
Wow, a
Yeah.
hundred
Yeah,
videos?
around 100. So
Whoa.
the first section would be like, this is the course, this is how to use it, this is how you
Yeah.
get support, blah blah blah. And then the next one would be, a bit being who you need to be, etc. Because when I first released the Wedding MC, I was a successful wedding MC.
Mm,
But I'm me, I'm quite an
right.
outgoing person. I'm quite friendly. I was successful. So I never knew whether it would work for like hundreds of other people, right?
Mm,
I assumed it would. But fortunately, so I really took my time creating this course. Uh,
right.
and it did work because everyone just followed a process. So for instance, to answer your question about we're actually selling it to the mother or the father or
Mm,
um, I give you a script template, a pitch
hmm.
that the magician will cherry pick bits out of, depending
Right.
on the conversation they're having. So equally, we have a weekly Zoom call, which I still do every Monday morning, 10 a.m. From the last 5 years. Anyone
10 a.m. UK, right?
at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
UK.
Okay. Sorry. Carry on.
Um, uh, Anyone who's on any of our premium courses, which is the corporate MC, the close-up course, or the wedding MC course, they can join that, ask anything they want. And now that has become a hive mind of hundreds of other magicians, to be honest, who have all done all of our courses and been out there doing it. So, it's not just about me answering questions, it's about people with real world experience other than me. So that's where the real value lies actually. It's not the course gives you the tools, okay? So our courses give you the tools to go and do it. It tells you how to
Mm,
sell it, how to
right.
deliver. You've still got to, want to do it, and you've still got
Obviously. Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
not be a dick, basically. Right.
Well, yeah. I think this idea it's a splendid idea where you're having, for want of a better expression, a kind of round table with people who are actually doing it.
Yeah. And we still do that now.
Yeah.
I do an accelerator program, which is just a business
Hmm.
course. I do a Zoom with them, and now with our other company that we've recently set up, the COM. I know you're going to touch on later. Again, we do that, and that one is based on actually on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. And the reason
Hmm.
for that is for we got quite a few people in America joining that COM, so
Right.
that
Right.
fit in better for that. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, so with all of our courses, you get lifetime access. You just watch it at your own pace on your phone, your laptop,
Mm,
your however you get online. And then we build on that. So I give you all the tools. You go out there, I show you how to sell it,
hmm.
and then what I've loved about it is I've literally taken brand new people who are very very new to magic actually, and they've
Hmm.
gone out there. They are now pretty much doing, wedding MC jobs, some corporate MC jobs, and obviously, superstars of close-up magic. And
Right.
I've helped them build a career in record time. So where it would have taken them maybe 5 years to get to that stage, or maybe even longer, it took me 25. Um, they've done it in a year or two because I've given them the tools to do it.
Well, yes, this is so right, isn't it? Because you can be interested in woodwork. If silly kind of metaphor, but I'm trying to make a serious point. You can be given all the woodwork tools, but if it's a handsaw and a hand drill, yeah, you'll get on with it. But then you have to learn how to cut a dovetail joint and a mortise and tenon joint. Um, but what you're saying, if I understand it correctly, is that you're saying, hey, look, there's some really nice power tools here. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can use this saw, and it's going to take you 1/10 of the time to cut this piece of wood. And
Yeah, it's like
here's
we use an analogy of Thomas Edison, who obviously invented the light bulb, right? So
right, right.
if any of us on here want to invent a light bulb, what we're going to do, right? We're not going to start from scratch. We're going to go to someone who's already invented it, or we're going to find out, all of his process, what he did right, what he did wrong. The
Hmm.
10,000 ways to develop that, right? So I found it quite strange when I first started launching courses that some magicians were kind of against that. They were like, "Oh no, you've got to do it yourself. You want to be an artist. You don't want to copy." But all the courses is really an online version of a book or an online version. It's exactly the same as a magician buying a trick or
Hmm.
buying a book to learn from or buying an illusion. Somebody has come along before and experienced it and learnt it and produced it and created it, and then they've put it out there for the market to buy. That's all we're doing with courses is fast tracking someone's career if they want to invest in themselves and want to get on quicker and faster.
Well, that's the key word, isn't it? Which a lot of people, I don't say everybody, but quite a lot of magicians tend to forget that you have to invest in the business that's yourself.
Absolutely.
Because if every single business, doesn't matter what you're doing, right, however small or big or conglomerate internationally, you've got to keep on investing in yourself. As we're seeing today, successful ones are investing in new technologies. If you don't
Yeah.
do that, you're left behind. It's
Yeah.
that simple. I've never been one for saying, yeah, you should do it by yourself and struggle and think. Why? Because you go to art school to learn which brush to use, how to mix paints. Nobody's teaching you to paint like Degas or Monet or Salvador Dali. That's not what you're doing. You're saying, hey, look, there are these brushes, you can use this. And by the way, I discovered that instead of a brush, if you use the tip of a feather, you get this effect. So
Exactly.
that's what you're giving people, I think. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And all we've done is where we've all had mentors or people that
Mm, mm.
inspired us back in the day. We've created a course that can, sort of fast track that as well, really. So, I'm really proud that I've helped nearly 500 magicians, build their
That
business.
that's a fairly impressive number.
What is you touched on a point a minute ago that I just wanted to come back to is investing in yourself. And
Yes.
when we speak about that, a lot of magicians, oh, it's spending money. It's not about spending money. I mean, yeah, that's one version, that's one aspect of investing in your business,
Yeah.
for instance.
Yeah.
But it's about investing in you, being the best
Mm,
version of you. And how do you do that? So many, not just magicians, but people I speak to that say, oh, I want to change, I want to do this, but they don't do it.
mm,
Change doesn't happen over a long period of time. I mean, it does, but change happens when you change. So if you're doing the same thing year on year on year, right, you've got to change. And
yes.
there's not. Someone said to me, when's the best time to buy one of your courses? And I said 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the
Right.
best time
Yeah.
is now.
Mm,
Okay, so and that's the same for anything. When was the best time to buy that book that you wanted to learn a load of card tricks from?
mm,
2 years ago, right? The second best time is now. So it's not like, oh, I'll think about it and do it after Christmas. I'm
mm.
not quite ready yet. They're just no's, that's people just who aren't prepared to make that change. And anyone who is willing to make a change, I give them 100% support.
Would it be in a way accurate to describe you and the academy and all that it implies as a different species of mentor?
Yes, absolutely. So, it grew from, the hoop and glass, right?
Hmm.
Because no one could teach me that. I reached out to probably the only person who we know who could do that and didn't get a reply. So
Mm,
I was like, okay, I'm going to work it out,
mm,
which, it took me a year. And my neighbor, and I get quite obsessive. So I'd be out in the garden throwing a hoop and a glass
mhm.
at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and probably did annoy a few of the neighbours. But to the point where now I'd say I'm a pretty bloody good at it, and I've helped hundreds of other people do it, right? Um, Again, it's like with all of our courses, we never set out to have this big academy. It
Mm,
was purely the wedding MC. I was a corporate MC, but to be honest, I didn't want to give that away just yet. So
you're
I thought,
right.
right, well, I'll let everyone know about the wedding MC and I'll teach them that. Um, and then once that was such a success, as I say, my business partner John came on, and we created the corporate MC. because that's where the real value lies. That's for everybody, right? I mean, not everyone wants to be an MC, but it's an easy way to make a living or to earn a lot more. So you can work,
Well,
earn.
you say it's easy, and I understand exactly what you mean. And I'm sure there's folks here and watching this clip, like myself, would go, it's not just standing up there
No,
and saying, ladies and gentlemen, the award goes to Fred
yeah,
Smith
no,
for being the best employee,
yeah,
or the next act is, John Smith,
yeah,
who can find, four aces faster than you can. It's not.
yeah,
Being an MC requires a fair amount of research and dedication, I
no,
would say, into the company, what they want to do. And very often, sometimes they don't know. You
no,
have to sit
or
down and talk
yeah,
to the marketing director. What do you want to achieve with
yeah,
this? Would it be okay if I said that? And my big thing in workshops and whatever that I've given is always say to people, if you want to do that, get with the person in the company, find out what they want to achieve. Sometimes they don't know.
no,
Make some suggestions.
yeah,
Well, actually, I say sometimes I'm being kind. More often than not, they don't know. But,
no,
well, you just come up there and give the award. They say, no, 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 that's not
yeah,
what it's about. Why are you doing the award? Well, to acknowledge, yeah, yeah, but really, why?
yeah,
So that other people can be inspired, so something else can happen. Why are you receiving this award from somebody? Well, I never thought of that. And you'd be surprised the number of marketing directors who don't know that. You
no,
would be, well,
absolutely.
I say you would be surprised. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. But, but I mean, is that something you talk about or instruct, or I hate this word teach, let's say instruct,
Absolutely.
is
So
instruct.
with the corporate side,
Yes.
what you've touched on is super important. And equally, a lot of companies will come up with some terrible ideas that I,
Mm,
through years of doing it, we know really won't work. So
yep.
again, it's a process. Okay. I show you how to get the job. And then once you've got the job, I show you how to deliver that job and I'll give you all of the tools to do it. So, for instance, I have all different script templates that I've written out for charity events, corporate awards nights, just the corporate long service awards. And I'll give my client those scripts. I'll give whatever the gig is. I say, would a script be helpful for you, to help plan the night, just so we know can get a running order, etc. And anyone who's not like a huge event company, they love those, right? And
Yes.
I've still using, I see companies using my scripts from 10 years ago because it's basically a fill in the blanks. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to blank for the blank, etc., etc. Right now, then I'll do an introduction, and then my first job is to tell us more about the success of your company. Please welcome to the stage your CEO, a blank. And now what that does is one, it gives me a script that I can follow, and it makes sure that the script is written correctly, i.e.,
Mm,
every time I'm making an announcement, their name is at the end. Not, every company will say, let's welcome to the stage John Smith. John Smith has been dealing with the company, blah, blah, blah. So you've killed all of the big intro,
yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
having their
Yeah.
name last does three things. Number one, it's going to we're going to announce the first act so that the AV team are ready for the music. Number two, when his name starts, he knows that's when he's going to get up on the stage. And number three, it gives a cue for the audience to start clapping. So having their name last. So all of those little bits of business I give to the magician or or the company itself. I'll then
Yeah.
also have forms that I'll share with the company only if they want them
Mm,
about their uh, the look and feel they want for the night, what they're trying to get out of it, etc., etc. And a lot of that we'll cover on a Zoom call. So I'll
yeah.
always book in a Zoom call with people. In fact, I do that in the sales process because I found by jumping on a call, it's a lot you get the sale a lot quicker than just emailing. Uh,
Yes.
so I'll always have a call face to face, have a chat, and then I found you can charge more because it's harder for them to say no.
Yes. Yes. True. True.
It's
True.
really true because there's like 11 points of contact they say, to get that sale.
Mm,
Well, on a Zoom, we've just jumped to about six or
mm,
seven in one hit,
mm,
right? So I'll call people and I'll get on a Zoom with them. And then they're like, yeah, I like this guy. He talks sense.
mm.
let's go for it. They might have to like come back and have a think about it. But so with the reason I say it's easy, what I mean by that is once you learn the process,
Mm.
it's not as daunting as you may think. What is very different is from a close-up magician's point of view, where we turn up and maybe do reception drinks or the table magic. Um, when you host, you're there pretty much all day and night.
Yep.
So I'll arrive, 1, 2 o'clock. I might meet the client, and then my sound check might be at 4 o'clock.
Mm.
And then I'm on stage at 7 o'clock, let's say. So you don't really have any time to yourself. I mean, more often than not, I'm running through a whole awards right up until 6:30. Then you run up to your room, put your tux on, and come back down.
Yeah.
But that I quite like that. I because you're part of the team, you're part of the company, and because you deliver that world-class service, which I'm a big fan of, they book you year on year. So.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, that's the interesting thing with you. I know for a fact that your clients continue to come back to you,
yeah.
and simply because, yeah, they're like the product. I mean, I don't want to call you a product, but in many ways,
Well, I
you,
am,
I,
yeah.
and everybody is a
Yeah,
product.
we are.
We're selling a product, we're selling a
Yeah.
service. And if they like it, they'll keep coming back. Would you agree? Well, this is my personal take. You may or may not agree with it, but very often, companies will kind of do another event the following year or whatever, and they can't be bothered to do any research. And they just go, well, that guy we had last year, he was good, wasn't he? Give him a call.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a good job, it stays.
Oh, trust me,
It
because
stays. Yeah.
most of these companies have had either an internal host, which is okay, right? But
Yep.
it's not
Yep.
brilliant, and or a good comedian, right?
Mm.
Who's going to be commanding around the £10,000 mark or something like that. One who we might have seen on telly a bit. Well,
Ah.
what I noticed from doing close up is a lot of hosts would just literally turn up, read a script that they've been given, and then go.
Mm.
And I just used to stand at the back of the room thinking, God, I could do that.
Yeah.
And it really came about because when I was doing so much close up, I was very, very busy close up magician, and it burns you out. And I thought, well, oh, I want to do my after dinner show. So, for 10 years, I was working on my show. But again, in the UK, it's quite difficult to get booked just for doing after dinner entertainment at
Mm.
corporate events. You can, but you'll see most magicians now who are in that genre are on cruise ships because
Mm.
that's where the work is, right?
Right.
But when you become the host, there's a massive market for that. And when you are the host, you get to do your after dinner show because you are now the entertainment. So it works. It just worked very well for me. I thought, right, I'll be the host. How do I do that? How can I give that company, more value than they get from just booking a celeb? I mean, obviously I'm not as expensive, but I give a lot of value without having to do too much myself, apart from on the night. I'm very upbeat.
I think from a pure business perspective, from the client's perspective, and I've used this, and I know others have as well, so I'm not exclusive in this. And I guess that's what you're trying to convey here. Not trying, you are conveying, is that very often I would say to somebody, look, I'm here, you've paid for me for this or my flight or whatever. Would you like me to do this, this, and this for you? And very often they'll kind of go, okay, let's do, I don't have to pay for another flight. I don't have to pay for another hotel room for
Yeah,
another person. This guy can do it all.
yeah,
And he'll do it for a lot less money than if I had to pay him and someone else.
absolutely. So, quite
So
often.
it's a business pitch in a way.
But often I'll be, let's say I'm in abroad. I'll say, I'll do a bit of close-up magic for you. Okay, now I don't have to do that. Okay, but I'm
No.
just saying,
Mm.
there's time in the evening that goes, and I know I might say it myself, but I'm brilliant at close-up magic. Okay, and I know that if I go and do a few tables, they are definitely booking me next year, regardless
Right.
of how good I am on
Right.
stage. I'm also, I think, all right on stage. I'm a corporate host. That's where
Yes.
I specialize. Um, and I'm very good at that because I've
Mm.
done it a lot. But I know if I add a little bit of close-up magic, it's not just about the magic, it's about going that extra mile, just, saying, yeah, well, I'll do a bit of that, don't worry. And I've helped people put up signs and, all sorts
Yeah.
of, because if I'm standing there doing nothing for like 5 hours.
Well, that's the investment part in a
Yeah.
way, isn't it? Because you're saying, look, I'll give of myself to this client,
Yeah.
a corporate client, or wedding. But I've probably done 3 weddings in my entire career, but that's not my genre, so to speak. But I know people who've gone in and they've said much the same thing. Oh, look, don't worry about that. I'll do this. When are you having this happening? When are you having that happening? Oh, how about if I do this for you? And they go, well, how much does that cost? And you say, well, actually not going to cost you anything. We've
Mm.
arranged my fee for my main thing, but I'll be happy to do that. And if there's a little lag in the first and the second course being served, oh, would you be okay if I just stood up and did a little something for the whole
Yeah.
room? And they
I
love it. And you're right, they'll book you again. Maybe not a wedding, but
no.
well, I don't know. If they get
But
divorced, they
you know
might.
what, a wedding, yes, yes, weddings are strange because yeah, we're gonna um, do a great job. But don't forget that venue are seeing us. So the
Yes,
wedding planner is seeing us, and they're like, "Oh my God, this guy has just made my job so easy." We all look
right.
because of this guy. So you can kind of get repeat business that way. And pretty much weddings are great gigs. Okay, for anyone out there who's thinking of getting into magic, get into weddings because I'm sure Paul, I see Paul's here, and
Yeah,
I don't know if Eamon's does weddings, but they are the easiest and nice, really nice gigs because everyone's happy.
yeah,
There's a very easy structure to the day, and they're easy to to sell the magic too. I like to think of so I don't go above and beyond on every single event. I'm not going to go to an event where they don't want me to do something and me force it on them.
no,
So
exactly,
I'll offer
exactly.
it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But equally, I'll be hosting an awards and they say, "Oh, we don't want any magic." I'm like, "Oh yeah, but I'm introducing myself as Paul Martin, your magical host.
mm,
I'll do a quick trick at the beginning. No, no, we don't want it. No, we just want you to do your hosting." And you have to go along with that, and you have to go, okay,
absolutely. Yep.
maybe I'll fit something in a little bit later. Well, we see. So in those cases, I'll go, well, I'll tell you what, I'll go to the CEO and the top tables and do a little
Mm,
bit because I want them to see, you know, how good I am, and what I
yep.
can add to the event. But as with corporates, just with like the courses, they seem very daunting to people if you've never done it, right? I
Mm,
remember the first time, and I've learned all of this by trial and error and watching other people
mm,
learning,
mhm, mhm.
then building, and then from my experience and John's experience, we've you know collaborated and created courses that are easy for us to teach other people how to do it.
So basically, I mean, you're opening up avenues, if I can use that word, for a magician who's just going there, getting a gig, doing a bit of close up or whatever, saying, hey, look, there's a market out there that you can explore. If you invest in yourself, your business, which is you
Yeah.
can actually give people better value for money and at the same time make extra money yourself.
Absolutely. Now,
It,
a
it
quick
really,
example,
yes,
very quick example would be
sure.
as a host, as a corporate host or a
Hmm.
wedding MC. Okay, I learn how to present. I've got my little PA system, so all that set up. I might have on my iPad some walk on and off music that's already
Hmm.
set up, right? So the way I package all of my gigs, whether that's just a close-up gig or whatever, is I'm going to offer them 2 to 3 packages, and my basic package is is more than I want, right? So I
Mm,
know I'm being really well paid for what I'm about to do. So it doesn't really matter if I'm doing 3 hours close-up magic or I'm there for an hour doing it. I don't care about the length of time. I want to get
mm,
away from that time and say,
mm.
this is my close-up package. I'm there for you. You,
Right.
you're not going to be there for 5 hours, but you get the
No, but I do. Yes, yes.
equally, with the hosting, I upsell to private parties all of the time. So they say, "Oh, we want you to come and do a bit of close-up magic." Great, let's have a chat about your event. Let's jump on a Zoom. La 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 la. So, okay, tell me a little bit about it. Well, we've hired a golf club. You're having a sit-down meal. Great. How many tables? Great. Are you doing a speech? Yeah, I'm doing a speech. Anyone else? Well, the grandkids. Okay, that's great. So we've got the grandkids coming up, you're coming up. How about we do a nice entrance for you? So other than not just the close-up magic, I could bring you in, introduce you. Oh, quite like that. And then how about, when the grandkids are getting up, I play a little bit of music, they come up, I've got my professional PA system, so we're not using the venues that half the time they don't work. And we
Right.
really make a big thing about it, and we bring them up, everyone will be clapping, they do their little speech. Oh, I like the idea of that. And then how about I do a little show for everyone after the close-up magic, etc. So I've just upsold a whole hosting package just by, letting them picture this wonderful 60th wedding anniversary or whatever it might be. Uh, and you know what? It's more fun for us.
Yes, yes, you actually get to have fun doing the job, so to
Yeah.
speak. I mean, it's a wide, broad statement to make, but I'll make it anyway. I mean, if we're not having fun doing this, then get out of the business. Really.
Equally, I've got
Yeah,
to make
yeah. There's some times when
sure
it,
we do
yeah,
it.
it's a
Cool.
broad statement.
Yeah.
You do it, you're a pro, you get up, then you do it, and things happen, and that's it. But by and large, talk to me a little bit about this. I know you have your partner who's British, but he's based in Norway,
Yeah.
and you're making big inroads into the Norwegian market. I love that country. I mean, I've done
John's huge
things.
in it. John's the
I've done things there and stuff. I mean, I just love it. I think it's great. What is this new thing you have called BOOK apostrophe D? How do you
just booked.
pronounce it?
Yeah,
Booked,
booked.
booked,
Has
or
booked.
booked, or booked, or booked. How do you pronounce it?
So booked
Booked.
without an
Oh,
E.
okay, right,
Yeah.
without an E. Okay,
Um, So through the Pro Magic Academy, we obviously got a lot of magicians who some are starting out, some are new. I've used every type of CRM out there. That is a customer relationship management system. So
right.
some way I manage my leads, I manage my bookings, I invoice through it, etc. I've used them all, and none of them really did exactly what I wanted them to do. That some are very good.
Mm-hmm.
Some are ridiculously expensive and too many features that we're never ever going to use. So a couple of years ago, both John and myself said, you know what, let's try and create the perfect CRM
Mm-hmm.
for magicians and performers. And so that's what we set about doing. And I'm really pleased to say, we've now created that. I use it on a daily basis. But we wanted to create something that's super simple to use. You actually use all the features.
Right.
So it's not complicated for any of us. I'm not particularly a technophobe. I mean, I'm like same as most people. I just click it and want it to work. So that was a sort of important factor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. But we wanted it to so an inquiry will come in and it will go into a sales pipeline. So you'll never, and then you just move it along that sales pipeline. So you're never going to lose a booking. You're never going to double book yourself. But equally, I mean, it's quite a beast of a platform. But we wanted it to be simple, easy to use, and you can invoice through it, run your whole business through the system, your calendar, everything. You can message clients through it, WhatsApp, call them, email them. You've got templates. You can have automation emails if you want. But the way we run it is an inquiry will come in. We drop them an email from a template that we've already created. So it actually comes out of your email, your current email provider.
Right.
And then you'll set yourself a task, just click a button and say follow up in a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever. And then you'll get a reminder on your homepage to follow up with that client. And then you kind of move them along a pipeline until they're booked and then they go into another pipeline. So you've got, everything you've ever dreamt of for running your business, we've literally created it.
I don't mean to sort of downgrade it, but as you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, a kind of, I mean, forgive me if I use this word, I don't know any other word to use, spreadsheet for
Yeah.
magicians designed by a magician.
Yeah, so that is the thing. There's a big thing about what I'm very passionate about, and this is for the Pro Magic Academy. It's me as a performer, and
Hmm.
it's how we built booked. Is we focus on the customer, not competition, right? So I
Right.
don't mind, I don't care what other CRMs are doing.
Mm.
What I cared about was what do we all want? And I'm a performer, right? So I know what I want.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
pretty much what
Exactly.
I want is pretty much what we all want.
Yes.
And I mean, trust me, there's you do get some requests that are quite bizarre, but we set about creating a very simple system that
Mm.
is easy to use. You can see all of your numbers, so you know how much money you've got coming in, how much tax you need to pay, where all the gigs are coming from, what gigs you're doing more of, what's your average price per gig, because knowing your numbers in your business again is super, super important for you to
Yes.
run it as a business. But even if you're a semi-pro, right, this book costs £30 a month, right? So it's
Yeah.
about $38, $39 a month. It's
Yeah.
not a lot of money. And
No.
we've intentionally done that because even if you've got 20, 30 jobs a year, I guarantee this system will get you more bookings because you will follow each lead through to the end where you might have forgotten about them and another magician's come in and nicked that one off you. We're going to be on top of every inquiry, every lead.
Well, and it's a legitimate business expense, which I
Oh,
think a lot of people in the business, forget. There are things I think in show business and particularly in magic, is that from a couple of pairs of socks to a couple of pairs of shoes, two tuxes, uh, your
yeah,
shirts, um, not just the decks of cards
no,
you have.
no, it's
It's
not.
all these little things that you put down as expenses. And my thing that I do, I'm nowhere near what you're doing at the moment, but in the workshops, what I always say to people is, look, keep every single receipt.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
keep it.
yeah.
When you
I, I
come,
put through everything to my accountant. So I have
yeah,
an accountant. I'm a big fan of, right, look, I'm not I'm not an accountant. So you know
right,
what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not a
correct.
social media expert. So you'll see all of my social media is basically me with my phone going, hiya, hi, here I am at wherever, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah. Right now, I might shoot 20 of them on the night, right? Because I'm
Yeah,
not really brilliant at it. But obviously, on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you might follow me, you'll see that. Now, the reason I do that is not to show off to other magicians or show that it's just so clients can, if they do go to my profile, and believe me, they do, right?
yes.
They will see that I'm actually who I say I am. I'm being Paul Meyer, your magical host, and I'm actually at a big award tonight, or I'm actually entertaining someone at a wedding. And it's super important that we do that. It's something that we all overlook. But I know I'm not, I can't do Facebook ads, so I'm not going to do that, right? So all of the things I don't want to do, I will pay someone else to do. Now, booked is your whole business hub. So for £30, you've got someone running taking charge of your business, let's say. And all we have to do is log in each day or open it up and have a look about, do a few tasks, and the business side is now taken care of, and you can get back onto, fiddling with a pack of cards or promoting your business, for instance. It's like I'm not a copywriter, so I would say, Chat GPT is like my new copywriter section. I pay an accountant. I pay an accountant a lot of money because I don't want to do it. But like you say, I save every single receipt. Now in the UK, they're pretty tough, our government, on like, if you buy a tux, right, they say, well, did you only wear it for work? Can you prove that? Well, I do, right? Now I'm not going to say
Yeah,
wear it, somewhere else, but I don't really go to black tie dinners other than work.
yeah.
I'm lucky. I've got a good accountant, and he will put everything through. But only if I give it to them. So yeah,
Exactly. So
look,
I learned.
one here, logs,
Yeah,
right?
there you
Logs.
go. Yeah, exactly. I
Three
learned.
£257 logs. I'm
Yeah,
putting that through.
there you go. Well, I learned from the old days the shoebox theory.
I've
Every
got
receipt throws
one.
in a shoebox.
I've
When
got
you
one up
finish,
there.
you gather them up, give it to the accountant, or if you've got time, you tally it up and you look at that, and then that's it.
Yeah, we
That
have a
is it.
system where you just take a photo and it sends it off to
Yeah,
your. So
yeah. Yeah, that's all you need to do. I think this is very important because I think quite often people, and I'm not talking about the pros, I'm talking about people who make a charge for doing magic. Say, oh, no, I'm not really a full-time magician. I'm more of a hobbyist or whatever. Tend to forget that they also pay tax.
Yeah, and
And you do not want to ever, ever, ever find yourself in the position 2 or 3 years or more down the line where your local tax authorities, for whatever reason, comes to you and says, I think we need to have an audit.
yeah,
Because an audit is expensive, is time consuming. Even if you're a hobbyist and for whatever reason you make some money from something, my big thing is, right, yeah, if you enroll in Paul Martin's courses, if you get booked, if you get whatever from Paul, right, put it down. It's an expense.
oh, of course, absolutely.
It's a, yeah.
And equally, I'd say for anyone who's, none of us are born business people. I wasn't born, I'm not the world's best business person. Okay. I enjoy finding out about it, and I've, invested a lot of time and money myself in learning about business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the world champion business guru. But what I do know is for all of us, whether we're professional, amateur, if we're going to do some gigs and we're going to be paid for them, be paid your worth. Now, that doesn't mean, you've got to be charging fortunes, but what it could mean is just think about it a bit and think, do you know what? If I just put, even if I'm an amateur and I'm going to go to my local golf club and do their, summer garden fete, for instance, and they're saying to me, "How much do you charge per hour?" Right, rather than doing this hourly rate, let's just say, "Well, look, I've got a couple of options for you," and then you're going to design 2 or 3 options
Right.
for that gig. So for that one, it might be, well, I do some close-up magic. I do a little parlor show that people could come and watch at a certain time of day, or I do the pre-fate dinner and then something in the evening, whatever it might be, right? And these are my 3 prices. Number one, all of the selling is taken care of because you just go, that's how much it costs. Boom, boom,
Yep. Yep.
that one, or that one, right?
Totally, I'm smiling here. Totally agree with you, because on occasion, we all get that. How much you're going to charge? What do you cost? Uh,
Yeah,
and depending on who the person is, with a big smile on my face, I'll go, "Well, I'm not a taxi driver." And
yeah,
they go, "What?" I say, "My job is to take you from A to B safely and then pick you up and bring you back, no matter how much you've drunk." Well, that's psychology, because that's staying on topic, but moving them away a little bit, getting them to think,
yeah,
and then say, well, it ranges from nothing to 20,000. And
yeah,
they get a chuckle, but at the same time,
yeah,
psychologically, it's saying to them, look,
yeah.
there's a space here.
There's
And then,
somewhere in
as you
between.
were saying, yeah, then we get into what exactly is it you want. Yes, because what I want to do, what I think would be right for you, may not be within your budget, would not be whatever. By the way, give me a rough idea of your budget, and then I can tell you, if I'm going to show for you from A to B, if you give me one budget, yeah, I'll send a nice, I'll wear a chauffeur's hat and bring a Rolls Royce.
Mm.
If
It
you
took
have a
me a long time to
if you
like,
have a different budget, then I'll bring you a nice town car, but
yeah,
it's not a Rolls Royce. So it really very much depends what you want to do. And this is, I suspect it's yours and other people's as well. This has been my experience over the years. When you kind of approach it that way, and then after 15 or 20 minutes say, yeah, because I hope you understand, I want to be part of your team, not just kind of, provide you with a
yeah,
service. Then they get it.
yeah,
It's very often they don't understand that. They don't understand how to book show business people. And I
yeah,
think it's our job to kind of explain it. What do you
yeah.
think, Paul?
No, I 100% agree. And by using packages, it took me a long time to understand this, but it's very easy when we stay out to go, I'm, $500 an hour or
Mm.
$500 for 2 hours and 650 for three hours. That really limits us in what we're ever going to earn and what we can do. It works. If people want to do that, go ahead
Yep.
and, right, I can't stop you. But it's
Yep.
much easier to say, I have a reception drinks package, a table magic package, and then my VIP package, right? And that one would be all of the close up, but with a show. So the reception is $500. The reception and tables is $750, and with a show, it's $995. Out, and then let's have a chat about your night. Which one of those three package options would suit your event best, do you think?
Hmm.
And then they're like, oh, now we're not talking about time. Well, how long are you going to be there for? Well, when does the reception drink start? When
Yeah.
does it finish? Is it
Time is
5 o'clock?
immaterial. Yeah, you're not a taxi driver with a meter. Yeah.
But what we can do then is we can negotiate the
Yes.
package options, to get to the fee we want. That's why my basic fee is £995, right? For whatever the gig. Now I don't get every gig. Obviously, there's a lot of close-up little small parties. There's just no way they're going to pay that. But I can give them to someone else. I live
Yeah.
in the country. I live 2 hours away from pretty much anywhere, when I'm driving. So I need that kind of fee to make it worth my while to go out and get it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
well, occasionally I'm going to work for less, but it's very, very rare these days. So I know my basic fee, I'm happy with. It's gonna, help me pay my bills at the end of the month because, like everyone else, I have a ton
You've
of.
got bills to pay. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think you've used a key word there that a lot of people in show business, by and large, and in my experience, and I'm happy to be corrected if I'm wrong, magicians tend to forget, and that word is negotiate. Negotiate does not mean bartering or camel trading. Negotiating means having a conversation
Yeah,
with the express purpose, primarily, of doing what's right for that client.
yeah. So on our book system, when you get an inquiry,
Mhm.
when they say I've got packages all set up for every single scenario you can think of, right? Probably the hardest scenario is a house party, close-up
Mm.
magic at a house party, because how can you really make three package options for that? It's very
Yeah,
difficult. You could do
yeah,
two, right? Because you could have
yeah.
like a mystery room where people could
Mm,
come in and watch a little parlor show or something.
mm.
But for a wedding, super easy. If I'm offering the MC, it would be Simply Magic. And Simply Magic is close-up magic at reception and tables. Or
Yeah,
whatever I want is Simply Magic. Then I've got half day MC, full day MC. They're their three options, and I'll explain them. I say which one suits you best. They may go, well, we really want the half day, but we'd love you to do the cake cutting. So, do you know what? If you pay the deposit today, or if you want to sign up today, I can do that at the price of the half day. So already I know if I'm just getting my close up, I'm happy.
yeah,
So I'm even more than happy because I've just, earned an extra 1.5 times what I would be getting because all I'm doing now is making some announcements.
yeah. Well, there's one person that I know has had a great influence on you, well, in many things, but more particularly to do with courses and structuring and things like that. And that is your good lady, because
Yes,
she in her own right is I mean, this word has been used so often it's lost its meaning, is a species, let's call it that, a species of coach, if you
yeah,
like. Tell
yeah.
us a little bit about what she gets up to.
So my wife is a professional well-being coach, you could say. So she coaches people who suffer with overwhelm or stress, and she does that one-on-one online. She has
Mm-hmm.
days where someone will come here and spend the whole day, or she runs retreats, and a very popular one she runs twice a year is called the Powerful Women's Retreat. It's for women only. It's in a gorgeous place down in Sussex and sort of 12 women go there and they stay there for a week and all come out new people. But you're right in saying the word coach has become this
Yeah,
sad term almost, right? Because anyone
yeah,
can be a coach. Oh, I've
yeah,
just done a weekend's course and now I'm a well-being coach. You're not,
yeah,
right? She's a psychologist. She spent
yeah,
like 20 years studying it.
yeah.
Bloody good at what she does. Um,
Right.
but exactly the same. I've learned so much from her about being who you need to be. Um, taking charge of, if you want to do something, you do it. All of these just common sense stuff, to be honest, but we don't think about it. So I'm a big believer in being who you want to be. And by that I mean by being, so if you want to be a wedding MC, be a wedding MC. You're already a wedding MC. You might not have a job, you might not have the course, but you are a wedding MC. I explain this a lot on my talks and on our courses. Because when you're being who you need to be, the doing becomes much easier, and then you have
Yes.
all of us get it the wrong way, right? We like, right, I want to have that. So what do I have to do to have that? Where it's not what do I have to do, it's who do I need to be? Because if you're being that person, the doing is much easier to then get the having.
What a
Deep.
wonderful phrase. And of course, naturally, you're so right. I think we've come to the stage now where I'm pretty sure I could get you to talk for the next 6 hours on this, because I'm fascinated by it. But I want to open up a little bit the meet and greet. Paul, if you want to put let's bring Paul in.
Oh, how you doing, Paul? You good, mate?
Well, mate, yeah, good to see you. Great to see you on here. I thought I'd make the effort to be on here as you're on here. So good to see you. Yeah, well, blimey, where do I start with this? I think the first question that I've got for you, Paul, is that I'm having to rebuild my life again after a bit of a hiatus, and I don't think I'm the only one either. I think there's a lot of us that, we went through that COVID rubbish, and the way it completely slaughtered the business.
Yeah.
It's totally messed up London, isn't it?
Yeah. And for me, I went through exactly the same thing. I mean, I had just hired a PA who was £40 an hour to contact every event organizer. I really was pushing the corporate MC, and then COVID hit. So I spent, thousands of pounds. Anyway, look, fortunately we pivoted, did some online shows, but I know exactly where you're coming from. Somebody like Derek Oliver, right, who's at the Magic Circle a lot. He came to the Pro Magic Academy with very little knowledge, very little skill. He's now regularly booking in wedding MC gigs. He's done some corporate MC gigs, and he's getting close up gigs. Yeah, partly because of the courses, of course, right? But also because of the network, because of that weekly, meetup. So by you saying, look, I've got to restart. Well, first of all, you've got a lifetime of experience to fall back on, right? So we know that part. I know I could give you a gig tomorrow and you could go and do it. Right? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay.
I'm always prepared. I mean, there's
exactly.
a lot of people that say I have to gear myself up for it. I say, yeah, okay. Well, next hour I'll just grab everything.
Yeah. What you might be struggling with is like, what the bloody hell do I do now to go and get a gig?
I tell you what I'm struggling with now, Paul, is that most people of my age now are retiring.
Yeah.
Paul Gordon made a comment a little while ago where he said there's a lot of people out there still doing it way past their sell-by date. That's all right for him. He's got a bit of money, he's got his books, and he's quite happy. And I think he's had enough.
Yeah.
My situation is that I started out as an actor originally. I mean, I never wanted to do magic professionally, but I got into it because it was a really good way of making money. And hey, I ended up being quite successful with it. I did a bit of TV, did the cruises, did the whole bit like we do. But I'm, dare I say, 60 something now.
Yeah.
And I should be retiring. I don't particularly want to retire because I actually love performing.
Yeah.
Acting, and I want to pick up my acting career again next year. I do also have a bit of a problem where it looks like I'm going to have to go into surgery in January because I've got a wrecked hip.
Right.
That's affecting my ability to run about on stage and stuff. So until I get that fixed, not much I can do. But I can still stand. I can still mooch around the tables and stuff. But do you feel that I'm too old?
No, absolutely not. Because there's a market for all of us. Okay. There's this misconception with people that, how many wedding MCs are there out there, right? Well, it's exactly the same of how many magicians are out there. I mean, there's thousands of magicians and we're all getting gigs, right? And there's, you could have thousands of MCs and you can have thousands of people in their 60s with a bad hip, right? It doesn't matter. What matters is that you go, okay, this is where I am. This is the position I'm in. What do I need to do right now to move forward. Now, you are not old, right? I know we all might. I mean, I'm 58, nearly 59.
Really? Wow.
It's unbelievable.
That has surprised me.
but I might have a sort of filter. No, I haven't got a filter on here, but it's that's it, right?
That's funny.
If I pulled my skin from my eye, it would stay there. Okay, let's put it right. So, but what I say to people is when they say, "Oh, I haven't got any work," I say, "What did you do last week to get a gig?" And they go, "Nothing." And I say, "How's that worked out for you?" Okay. So what we have to flip that thinking and we have to think, okay, if I just do 20, 30 minutes a day, right, on marketing myself. Now, by marketing itself, I'm not talking about anything stressful. I'm thinking about maybe finding 20 venues in a 1 hour radius from where you live. Right. That's the first thing you could do is let's find 20 wedding venues or 20 any type of venue where you think you could go and do a gig, right? And then we're going to make a plan to contact those venues. Now, it might be a restaurant you might want to work in. I'm not saying that's the route you want to take, but if you were going to do that, you'd go to that restaurant, have a meal, check it out, maybe go in there and have a coffee and work on your computer another day, and maybe have a pack of cards on the table and fiddle about with them. So they're going to see you not as a sort of desperate guy who's coming in to try and get a gig as a close-up magician on a Sunday afternoon, but as someone who is being already a professional magician who just happens to go in there to have a coffee and work on their computer because you're already a successful magician. So when you do get in a conversation with them, your status is up here, not walking in cold. And that's the same for wedding venues. All we got to do, all you've got to do is be who you want to be. So if you want to be a close-up magician, we need to make sure you've got a little website, or one page is all you need, a brochure. Nothing these days has to be ridiculously expensive. If you can't do it yourself, you can get it done on Fiverr.com or whatever, or reach out to people online. I'm sure there's loads of kids who can, well, there is, right, who can knock up a decent brochure. And then it's a case of just approaching those venues and saying, hey, this is what I do. What I do is I'll follow them on LinkedIn. So I'll make my list, I'll follow them all on LinkedIn, and I'll add them and follow them. And when they follow me back, I'll click a little bell. And then when they post, I'll be notified, right? And then all I'll do is I'll comment on those posts, not in a salesy way. I'll just comment, wow, that party looked epic. Those table decorations look great, right? So I'm just slowly letting them find me, and and then when they reply, then I'm gonna message them. Hey, thanks so much. Been following you a while. I'd love to come and chat, see if there's any way we could work together. Are you free for either a virtual or can I pop a virtual coffee, or how about I pop in and see you?
Yeah, I like that. That's the kind of softly approach, isn't it? Rather than a
Yeah,
hard. I think they call that farming now, don't they? Instead of
yeah. But the point being is we're gonna make a list, a target list of who we want to contact, right? And then we're gonna nurture that list of venues until we get a few that are going to book us regularly. It don't matter. Age does not matter, because you could be a superstar. You could, in an old people's home, you're the young virile one that everyone wants.
Well, tell you the thing about age. I know for a fact, and I guess you guys know this as well, that dear Walter Blaney, I mean, he kept going till he was about 80.
Yeah, I mean, we'd all look. I'd love to.
It's just that. And I think some may have heard this before. I may have spoken about it before. The big mistake old guys like me make is that we forget we're old guys sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a big mistake.
Yeah.
I was like 30-something years ago, in my 50s, whatever, and we had this really nice game. My son used to do magic at the time, whatever, and I had the whole, or whatever, and it was all, superb with the mask and the hands and all the movement and, the whole Hokanayala types thing. And he looked at it and went, Dad, nah. I went, what? It's, I can feel it, and it's great. Nah. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, Dad, it all looks great, But here's the problem. In your mind, you're 25 and 30, but you're moving like a 50-year-old. Now, okay, I was fairly fit, and as Paul knows, and we've had a lot of fun together in Chinatown and London, etc. I do a lot of martial arts and so on, and kept myself fairly, fit, good. But your body betrays you, and you have to learn somewhere that there's some things have not quite passed their sell-by date, but probably not a good idea to open the package because it may have gone off. Then I reinvented myself. I fell into something that I've always wanted to do and never really got round to doing it. Some of the people here won't know what the heck I'm talking about, but I remember in a TV series from the BBC called Dad's Army, and there was Clive Dunn, who played this old guy. And I thought, well, what if I went into the character that I wanted, which is more of a sort of sorcerer type magic, which meant that I could move a lot slower. I didn't need to do all the big thing on stage. I could be a lot slower, take my time and talk about it. And then I decided I'd give this guy an accent. So it would be, "Greetings, I am Zadok, keeper of seal of ancient Magi. Maybe my bad English you don't understand. Pleased to say." And suddenly this was, right, he did the simplest of stuff. The old voodoo doll. I mean, I've had standing ovations with it because of the character.
Yeah.
If I'd done it in another character, it would have been, yeah, what? It's a voodoo doll. I would weave a story around it. So the reason I'm using myself as an example here, one, we're amongst friends, and two, so basically what your thoughts, I think, Paul Martin to Paul Abbey, is go for it. It may mean a reinventing of yourself or
I was going to add to that.
adaptations of the character. Yeah.
But it can also mean, let's look at all of the options available to you. Maybe that is a bit of mentorship with some magic clubs. Go to your local magic club. Hey, I'm doing a one-on-one mentorship program, teaching card tricks. I'm not saying that's going to be super big money or anything like that, but I like to look at my businesses. I've got gigs coming from here, 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 and here. So LinkedIn is one, Google AdWords is another, Facebook, my social media. And when all of those things come in, I'm busy. If I focused on one, I wouldn't be busy.
I think you hit the nail on the head here. I actually do all this. You must be aware of the fact that I run this course up in London, the City Lit Magic Workshop that I've done for nearly 30 odd years.
Okay, yeah.
But but that and what Anthony's just spoken about is that I am actually reinventing myself with a character that's based on my great grandfather, and he was actually called Professor Abbey, believe it or not. And I'm also working with a lady friend of mine called Teresa, and we want to build an Edwardian type act, but not Edwardian. We want to make it modern, but with the characters. So I've got all that. But here's the upshot of all this, Paul. I'm really good with the creative side, right? I'm an actor, but I'm crap at the marketing.
Yeah. Well, your options there are pay someone to market for you, or equally do what I say. But first up, you could make the most wonderful act, right, and the most wonderful character that you could be. If no one wants that, right. So we've got to think, where's that act gonna go?
Yeah.
Now, an old Edwardian couple is a fringe kind of show. It is could be at many venues in London. It's quite quirky. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's definitely not going to work. I mean, heaven forbid, I'm saying old people's homes, right? I'm not saying they're like a venue that we all want to go in. I've done them, right? And
they're cool.
Yeah, they're cool, right? Bizarre, right?
They're bizarre. They're cool.
More than you want to see. And I ended up doing a kids' party almost when I did that one. They just didn't even know what I was talking about. You know what I mean? But there are markets where you're going to get. It might be it could really work. But I would have you think about your teaching. Think about, okay, how can I get in, just do some close up with, some venues now, be maybe recommended. You don't have to be some young guy. Not everyone wants a young guy. Hosting, everyone wants an older person because we've got the kudos.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see, with Paul, for
You're gonna have
example,
to-
he is always the guy who could have played Auric Goldfinger. You know the movie Goldfinger, where it's like, do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. And he was great. I mean, Paul would have been great in that. So what I'm saying is this Edwardian thing, that mixture, and what Paul is saying, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, Paul, is that if you go in there and there's this whole hosting thing, I mean, not everybody looks great in a tux. I mean, most people look okay in it. They don't look great. Paul Abbey has this presence in a tux, which is great. I mean, it looks like, it's right for him.
All
Some
you've
people-
got to do
yeah,
is dedicate 30 minutes a day
Yeah.
to doing something.
Yeah.
yeah, getting
Step
doing
number
that kind of MC, announcer thing with a little bit of magic thrown in. You don't have to jump about or do anything really. It's just a thought. Anyway, but Eamon, you've had your hand up for a good while, sir. I've pulled you up.
Oh, hi there. Great to meet you, Paul. And thanks, Anthony, for asking me to take part in the
That's all
session.
right.
Hello, everybody. And yeah, the answer that you gave to Paul there was probably the answer you were going to give to me, actually, when I was sitting there and listening to what you were saying there. I've been interested in magic for, on and off 45 years, it must be, or something. And I was in and out of jobs quite a lot, that kind of thing. And I joined a local drama society about 15 years ago. And what I've learnt with that was incredible. My confidence came back. I'm at the stage now where I can see what suits me.
Yeah.
Like I've been told I've got good comic timing. That's what they're telling me. They think I'm quite kind of funny and pulling kind of faces kind of thing. Sometimes I do it, don't even know I'm doing it. And that's what they're telling me about. And I'm at the stage with that experience. I'd like to go back to the magic, but take what I've learned from the drama and into that. So it suits me. Like when you talked about the weddings, it's a thing I've never done, but I know people that have done it. It's a big market, like you
Yeah.
say. I've seen that, and it's quite
an
astonishing.
easy market to get into.
Yeah.
But equally,
And
I did a course on stand-up comedy, right? 8-week course. You end up doing a 5-minute spot on stage, and you write, 5 minutes of material. Now that doesn't sound very long, but that is bloody long when you're standing on stage.
yeah,
Nothing else except telling jokes, right? That taught me, I recommend everyone to do a stand-up comedy course because I'm still using those gags or part of those in my cabaret set now. Because all I did was switch like certain gags I came up with then into like a confabulation routine or, whatever it might be, right? So, but that makes that routine original. It makes it kind of original to me. You know what I mean? Where, yes, it's a trick that lots of people do, but now it's got my story on it about me. And it's, I've got an opening lines that I can say when I walk out on stage because I've used them from the close-up, the stand-up comedy I used to do. So being an actor and doing any form, that's again investing in yourself. All of this. We've been.
I'll tell you, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'll tell you what you learned from that, going on that course. You learned timing you never knew you had.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I learned I could write material that I never thought I could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all can. It's just we don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut across with that. Eamon, you were saying, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all right. I just wanted to know how, if I was going to like break into a market, would I stick to something that I feel suits me, like close up or something, or parlour, or maybe even try a wedding sort of thing? What I've learned with the drama or something, or a mixture.
The easiest way into doing any of this is close up. That's your starting point, right? Unless you're in a very comfortable position where you don't need to work and you just want to put together a show and put that show on in a small theatre or sell tickets to your friends and family or try and get into some other little venues, etc. Starting doing close up at weddings is by far the quickest and easiest way to start earning 500 quid for nipping out on a Saturday afternoon. Do you know what I mean? As a minimum, right? As a minimum, that would be the sort of lowest fee you would expect to get. I know there's sadly people who go out a lot cheaper than that, but you really, really don't have to. And listen, you don't have to buy a course off me, anybody, but you can all tap me up and drop me a message, and I'll, give you a few tips on what to do next.
That's great. Thanks very much, Paul. Brilliant.
I'll tell you a good thing, and I think I'm pretty certain Paul would agree with this. I've not done a lot of it, but I've done some, what's known as table hopping, except I've not done weddings, possibly 3, that's it. Is you don't need to have a lot of stuff with you. You can have the most basic things, maybe 4 which you're going to use, and the 5th one, which is your kind of standby just in case. And they don't all have to involve cards. I mean, it's easy stuff. If you I'm saying easy. Well, nothing's easy. You have to put in the work, the discipline, and the training, and all that kind of thing. But given all that, then yeah, weddings, going up to the tables, whatever, how to approach the table, what to say, what's going on, and so forth, how to dress for the wedding, depending what kind of wedding is it, is it your standard, wedding with suits? Is it something where everyone has to wear tails? You need, if you suss all that out, then you know how to dress and what to do.
So there's lots of money in weddings, lots and lots and lots. And it's easy for us to go, okay, I'm going to do magic at weddings. How am I going to do it? Well, first I'm going to find some venues. And tricks wise, like Anthony just said, right, you need 5 or 6 tricks, 3 for reception, 3 for the tables, done. You can, if you're only doing one of those, tables or reception, you could do all 6. Right, you don't do all 6 at once, but you can mix it. You only need that. I'm still doing the same 6 tricks I've done for the last 30 years, pretty much.
Yeah, you'll find actually most pros won't change. They might adapt a little bit here and there, but by and large, that's it. I mean, Michael Finney, good pal. I had him on my talk show at the IBM, and Michael has been doing this card on the forehead since Noah built the Ark.
Yeah.
And people book him exactly for that. They know what he's going to do. They know pretty much what he's going to say. But because he's Michael doing it, that's it. So yeah, if you've got something, I mean, I've done this on what some people refer to as a bold performer. Yeah, I'll say to somebody, here, take this deck, put it in your pocket. Blah 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 blah, something else, and I'll say, right, can you get it out now? And have somebody pick a card, and they pick it. And of course, the cards match, don't they? Thank you, and I'm off doing it somewhere else. I shouldn't do this, but I will. Took me hours and hours and hours and days and months and weeks and years. Actually, the idea came up to me overnight, and I've done it ever since. It's a one-way deck. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Invisible.
Just here, take this deck of cards in case you will get it. Oh yeah, I've seen this before. When you bring out a deck, there's always some rather clever person who says that. I just ignore them and I go, here, take this, put this in your pocket.
Yeah.
Why would I draw any more attention to it? It's just a deck of cards. Just put it in his pocket. I go to some other nonsense for about 2 or 3 minutes. I said, well, can you get it out and have somebody take one? And they do that.
Yeah.
I got paid a ton of money for it, doing it on TV. Seriously. I mean, some serious 4-figure money for a few minutes on a TV show. All it was a friggin' one-way deck. So I think it's a question of, we suffer, I think, I say this we, collective we, I don't suffer from it anymore, but I used to, where you're trying to do all this and you're trying so hard to impress mainly, I guess, other magicians, and they're trying to go, yeah, well, no, you're not on Fool Us, on Penn and Teller. You're there to make some money.
Yeah.
As long as people enjoy it, pick up your check, go home.
Yeah.
That's it, in my philosophy.
And if we take one thing away from like talking about business or us as performers, it's like what I said about all of my businesses is we focus on the customer, not the competition. So don't worry what other magicians are doing. Don't worry how busy they look on social media. Don't worry about what they say. It is the only thing we can control is us. That's it. And if we don't do nothing, guess what happens? Nothing. And so if we do a little something, something will grow from that, seed of starting something. So the key is, yeah, don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Paul, Eamon, you can be whoever you want to be. Just start doing it. Everything we have, we create. Everything. We create it.
Well, we're all amongst very close friends here, so I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning it. I mentored Robina at one time, very specifically for her examination at the Magic Circle. Right, Robina? And we just took a couple of things. She'd actually had a bad car accident and couldn't stand up. She's doing the exam at the Magic Circle. And I said, well, let's figure out something where you can do it sitting down. She said, well, yeah, let's do something sitting down. You can explain in your script why you're sitting down, which we did, and then put something else in. And we did. And you passed. You got your MMC.
I do think I was actually an examiner. So there you go.
Oh, were you? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to have to shoot soon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
But
I think
yeah.
on that happy note, I think, which it is a happy note.
It
I'm
is.
happy when somebody
That's it.
passes.
And I love that routine, and I still do it, and I do it standing up, and actually I adjust it a little bit, and so
Yeah.
but yeah, I love what we did.
Yeah. And we threw in some, well, you know my Native American background, so we threw in a little, well, if you saw it, you probably won't remember it, Paul, but you might do, that lovely line, from the Lakota,
Yes.
which is, we do not own the earth, but we inherit it for our children. And she did something and it fitted. I'm not saying it to toot my horn. I'm just saying it because we're among friends. And that to simply emphasize what all the marvelous things that you were saying, Paul, and sharing with us, all remains is to say thank you.
Well, thank you. And I'm sorry we haven't got longer. I'm more than happy to come on.
No, that's okay. So thank you very, very much. It is deeply appreciated. Thank you.
If anyone wants to drop me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, please, feel free to. I'm happy to chat with anyone about anything.
Wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Paul. Have the best. Have a great Sunday and a great week.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Take care and thanks again. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.